Sometimes a peck will just point an acorn at you. That is what will happen. Okay. Oh, Kit looks like a handsome prince, and I like that. She's also a little bit fruity, and I like that too. Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video I just wanted to talk about the new Disney series Willow, which is a sequel to the 1988 film of the same name. I don't know why I'm pointing at you. Oh, and I have some thoughts on it. Some good thoughts and some not so good thoughts, which I'm not the only person with conflicting feelings about this series, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So if you're not familiar with this new series, it's about an unlikely group of heroes who set off on a dangerous quest to places far beyond their home, where they must face their inner demons and come together to save their world. And as I say, it is a sequel to the 1988 film of the same name. I don't think you need to have seen the original film to enjoy this series, but it's certainly going to enrich your experience if you have. And also, the original film is just a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of fun, it's good. But let's get into it. So let's start on a positive note with what I liked about the new series, which pretty much revolves around Kit. I know she's not the most popular character, but I am like a little bit, you know, in love with who she is. I just love the way that they kind of reimagined this idea of a princess. I mean, they kind of did that in the original with Saoirse, they did, but I like her masculine energy. I mean, she's cute. She looks like a handsome prince. What can I say? She's cute. And I absolutely love that they've included a Sapphic romance. And not only have they included this Sapphic romance, but there was a kiss in the very first episode. So it's not just subtext, you know, it's not just subtext, and I feel like we've come a long way from a galaxy far away. I still think that's somewhat of a big deal for a huge Disney production such as this. And it's nice that the romance doesn't overshadow the main narrative, and it's treated in exactly the same way that all the other romances in this show are treated. This series has just done a fantastic job with the female representation and the lesbian representation. It's very good. It's normal, you know? I mean, you could tell from the beginning there was a very kind of Sapphic energy between Kit and Jade, and I was into it. I was like, okay. I did find myself shipping Kit with Dove quite a bit because they have this whole kind of like weird energy between them. Like, the whole thing reads to me as a I can't stand you but secretly I love you kind of situation. I know they're not going to take it there, but still my mind goes there. So the series' approach to diverse and three-dimensional realistic female characters and organic integration of lesbian romance are definitely my favourite things about it. Another plus is that the series also features some of the original actors from the 1988 film, such as Warwick Davis and Joanne Worley, and it's definitely a nostalgic kick to see them reprising such iconic roles. This brings me to the acting, and I have to say I think the series has a really strong cast for the most part, and a lot of the acting kind of carries this series when other areas such as the dialogue is lacking. We'll get to the dialogue in a bit, but yes, I think the acting and the casting is pretty decent in this series, I have to say. One thing I quite liked about this series in comparison to the original film was how much darker it is. Like, it's quite a creepy series, but I think that's due to the improvement in special effects and makeup and costume. Like, a lot of the kind of monsters in the original film, it was kind of hard to take them seriously, whereas in the series you're like, oh no, that's pretty scary. So in some ways this series feels like a little more adult, and I quite like the creepy atmosphere that they've created. It gives it a very different feel to the film, but I quite like that personally. So moving on to my criticisms of this series, or things I didn't really enjoy as much. The biggest letdown for me is the dialogue, hands down. A lot of it is just kind of awkward, and I really feel like it just just drags the characters down. A lot of the dialogue seems quite flat and forced, and I found myself like cringing in certain places. And it's a shame because they have a cast which are interesting and quite charismatic by themselves, so the writing could have really kind of enhanced these characters, but instead it just kind of like pulls them back. It's also definitely missing that kind of humor from the original film, and I don't expect this series to be exactly like the film. I do appreciate there's going to be quite a lot of things which are different, but you know, the film had a certain kind of essence to it, and it would have been nice if they had kept certain things, particularly like the humor. There were so many silly moments and good delivery of lines in the original film, which made me laugh out loud several times, and there's just none of that in the series. I also felt like from the get-go they could have found a better balance between action and our introduction to these new characters and to this new narrative that was about to unfold. I do realise that a series moves at a very different pace to that of a film. You know, in a series they have to kind of draw the narrative out over many more hours, so that is going to affect the pacing to a degree, but even still I felt like there could have been a better balance between, you know, action, things happening, and getting to know new characters and being drawn into this new story. I just think there is a way to create and keep that balance even in a series. I think the original film, like most films from the 80s and the 90s even, have a very particular charm about them, which is quite hard to replicate in the modern day. And of course, a lot of people grew up with a film like Willow, so they will look at it through a nostalgic lens, and I can see why they might be disappointed with this new series. Because if I'm honest, the series does lack a lot of the essence that the original film has. But at the same time, I think if you can appreciate this series for what it is and not consistently compare it to the original film, you can still have a lot of fun watching it. It's just about kind of lowering your expectations, basically. Overall, in my opinion, there's both good and bad elements to this series, but I think if you're able to take your nostalgic glasses off and just enjoy this series for what it is, it's quite a fun watch. It is frustrating because you can absolutely see the potential with this series and what it could have been if more care was taken with things like the dialogue and, you know, the setup of the characters alongside the way that they set the story up, but it's okay. I mean, the series is good enough for me to keep on watching, just with very kind of realistic expectations, you know? Okay guys, if you've seen the new Willow series, let me know what you think of it down in the comments section below. If you're a lesbian, if you're into female princes, come and join the Sapphic Underground Club. Just come and join it. We can swoon over female princes together in gay solidarity. Don't forget to subscribe for instant disappointment, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.